Okay, good afternoon, everyone. We're going to go ahead and get started. I want to thank you, truly thank you, for coming out to this meeting on how to do business with the city of Longview. We want to take the time out to reach out to the business community and let you know that we are wanting to do business with our local citizens and just business community. And so hopefully you will find this meeting informational and so that it can help you with maybe doing business with the city. Okay, so real quickly, we're going to go over the agenda. We're going to have some introductions. Then we'll go over the purpose, the organization, and the structure of our purchasing department, which is very important on understanding how to do business with the city. Then we'll talk about non-construction procurement, which is handled by the purchasing department. Then we'll give you tips to successful bidding. Hopefully you can use these to submit a response to a solicitation so that you can earn the business and win a contract award with the city. We'll also discuss a couple of future opportunities that are upcoming that may be of interest. Then we'll show you how to sign up for bid notifications and also how to sign up for a supplier list. We have a supplier list that we provide to the city departments, and they are able to go out there and find a supplier and maybe get a quote. So we'll show you how to sign up to be included on that list. Then we'll talk about construction procurement, which is handled by our Public Works Division, and then we'll have questions and answers. Now, we are recording this for future reference, so we ask that all questions are held to the end, okay? Okay, so first introductions. I'm Kimberly Adams. I'm the finance manager. We have Amanda Phillips. She's our purchasing agent, and Jessica Connor. She's our purchasing specialist, and we are the purchasing department. 3 whole employees, I will say. So, but we handle the non-construction procurement for the city of Longview, and our email is purchasing@longviewtexas.gov. Okay, so the mission statement. We, the purchasing department, we attempt to maintain goodwill between city government and the business community. Our mission is to provide and facilitate the most efficient and effective procurement to pay processes and to assist qualified suppliers and vendors with a fair and equitable avenue to conduct business with the city. So we are here for you. We are both here for the city and for the suppliers and the vendors. Okay, so the purpose, we manage the acquisition of all non-construction related goods and services. We ensure compliance with local, state, and federal laws. Since we are a government, we do have to follow certain laws, which enable fair and open competition. We safeguard public funds. We get taxpayers' dollars. We have to make sure they are used correctly, and that's one of our biggest charges. We also have dependable resources for our internal stakeholders. As you know, the city do multiple things. We do water, streets, drainage, police, fire, and so we have to provide these services to the citizens of Longview. So we have to make sure that they are able to have the supplies and equipment they need to be able to service the citizens of Longview. We engage with the external supplier community. We are here today to listen and to let you know of opportunities and to give you guidance on how to do business with the city. And we want to maintain a healthy supply chain. Again, we deliver services to the citizens, which are vital, and we need a good supply chain, and we need a good relationship with our vendors and our suppliers. Okay, so municipal purchasing is granted authority by Chapter 52 of the local Texas Government Code. Okay, so that's what we have to follow. And basically, we have to secure fair competition on equal terms to all bidders and remain unbiased in every solicitation effort. So fair and equitable, that's the main goal behind purchasing and doing business with the city. Now, the city works under a decentralized purchasing structure. So the threshold currently, today, right now, is $50,000. By state law, anything that is over $50,000 has to be competitively bid out, okay? But we are decentralized. So our departments handle procurement for anything under $50,000. And that's where that supplier list comes in. Because purchasing, us three do not handle that per se, but we will give the departments information and supplier information for them to go out there and get the 3 quotes that they need for anything under $50,000. Anything over $50,000 and it's non-construction comes through purchasing, okay? And that also requires council approval. So we do the formal solicitations you'll hear, and the departments do the informal solicitations, okay? And then Public Works, they do all construction, the building of the police station, any major construction projects over $50,000, that's overseen by our Public Works division. So there is a different structure, and we are decentralized, and so we want to make sure that y'all are aware of that. So you may work with the departments, or you may work with purchasing, or you may work with Public Works. So, okay. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Jessica Connor, and she's going to talk about our formal and informal.
Hello, everyone. So the City of Longview uses both informal and formal procurement processes. So for informal purchases, those are usually like for small items or quick turnaround items, anything that's determined to be under $50,000 aggregate. And the formal bid process that we handle, it's required by state law for purchases above $50,000, as Kim stated. So I'm going to go a little bit over our procurement methods. So some of our common methods that we use for informal P-card purchases, those are purchases made by our employees on their employee P-card up to $1,500. Direct and formal purchases are anything from $1,500 to $3,000. And then informal hub purchases, so that's historically underutilized business purchases, means anything from $3,000 up to $50,000, we're required to get a quote from a certified hub business from the state of Texas. And then finally, for sealed formal purchases, that's anything, as she stated, that's above the $50,000 threshold in the purchasing department. We'll handle those through a sealed bidding process. So we have different types of solicitation methods that we offer. So some that are usually used for the informal processes are the requests for quotes. So those, as I stated, are for purchases under the $50,000 threshold that we have. We require 3 quotes, so that could either be written quotes or verbal quotes. And requirements for those are usually like well-defined, meaning that we know kind of what we want to get from you guys and what we need in return. So, and it's based on price, meaning it's either going to be the lowest price that's offered or what we deem to be best value that we need for whatever we need for operations. And that price is firm, so whatever you're offering to us, that's what we have to kind of stick to. And it cannot be negotiated. So whatever you provide in writing or verbally is what we're going to go with. And usually those are for things such as like small items like office supplies, food, etc. So next, our most commonly used method, which is invitation to bid. Those are for considered formal, so purchases above that $50,000 threshold. They're sealed. And it involves the sealed bidding process, so you'll submit like a straightforward response detailing your costs and how you want to meet our specifications that we provide. And usually they're used for like well-defined projects where we have clear specs and clear outcomes that we want. And so our evaluation with that primarily focuses on price and adherence to those specifications that we provide. So we give that to the lowest responsive bidder who meets all of our technical requirements. So that's who we typically choose, the lowest responsive and responsible bidder. And no negotiations for that process is permitted. So we usually use that for things such as like chemicals. And then the next method is request for proposals. So these are a bit more complex. So they are also for purchases above that $50,000 formal threshold. Sealed, as all formal processes are. So we use these for our more complex projects where the solution is not necessarily predefined. When we don't know kind of necessarily, the solution is unknown, and we're looking for vendor innovation and creativity with like unique solutions for these types of projects. And as far as our evaluation criteria, it's a bit different from all of our other methods. We have predefined criteria that we put into the documentation informing you, and we consider multiple factors beyond cost. So price for bids is usually the determining factor. Here for requests for proposals, it is not. Usually we're looking at the methodology that you can provide us, past performance, your technical expertise, or just overall value and innovation that you may be able to provide. So this process usually can also include like demonstrations, interviews, things of that nature. So it's usually like a two-step process there also. And negotiations are usually involved. So we usually are refining after demos and interviews, refining those proposals and those contract terms. And finally, we have requests for qualifications. These are also for formal purchases above the $50,000 threshold, sealed as they all are. And these are also used for more complex projects when we require specific skills and expertise for the project. So it's a two-part phase. So the first part, it's a qualifications-based selection. So we're looking at resumes, experience, qualifications, certifications, things of that nature, and we determine the best candidate there, and then we go on to the second phase where we negotiate the price. So with this selection, price is not necessarily a factor until the very end when we determine who we're going to select, and then we'll negotiate those costs. So these are used for things like professional services, any consultants that we get, medical professionals, et cetera. All right, so I'm going to talk a little bit about cooperatives. So with cooperative purchases, the concept of cooperative purchasing is the goal is to procure goods and services more efficiently and cost effectively. So we usually like this method. The benefits include it saves time for us and streamlines our processes. So the bidding process, the negotiations, drafting contracts, that takes a bit of time. So all of this is usually done by a lead government agency that we piggyback off of from the cooperative contract. So us, along with other government agencies, can contract with the lead agency and whichever supplier that they select to get the goods and services at a bulk discount type price. So in the Texas, our local government code allows us to do so, to procure those goods and services with other agencies through interlocal agreements or other cooperative programs. So, and the aim and the goal of that is for us to achieve cost savings through like bulk purchasing and economies of scale. So with that, another benefit is collective buying power. So we share those resources, we increases our buying power, we're able to complete larger order quantities and volumes to help us drive down cost. And all compliance requirements that we stated from our Chapter 252, and then our Government Code 271 will be met with those. So we do our due diligence to vet these cooperatives and make sure that they'll be able to comply with the state statutes that we have to follow. And we only participate in cooperatives specific to the public sector. So with this, we encourage you all to research and join these cooperatives to expand your chances of doing business here with us at the city. Listed a few here that a few state of Texas and national cooperatives that we use pretty frequently. So we encourage you to maybe do some research on those to see if you're eligible to participate. Just an important note on that, prior approval will be required. So some of you may be a part of any kind of cooperative programs, but prior approval is required, and we just email us if you have any questions regarding if the eligibility, that cooperative program meets our eligibility standards. Okay. So lastly, regarding the purchasing, the state of Texas historically underutilized businesses, or what we like to call hubs. So being a historically underutilized business in Texas, it offers several benefits for you all, primarily through increased access to state and local contracts that we have. So certifications makes you vendor eligible to be included in the directory, the Texas Hub Directory, which is used by state and local agencies, universities, school districts, et cetera, to identify potential contractors. So if you're a part of this, you'll be joined within a larger like cooperative to be selected from agencies like us, Bragg County, et cetera. So while it's not a requirement, Hub certification may open more doors and opportunities for you guys, increasing your visibility with us. So here's some of the requirements. So you must be a resident of the state of Texas, a U.S. citizen, and your business must be primarily based in the state of Texas. The certification requires that 51% or more of your business be owned, managed, and operated by an owner who meets the following. So ethnicity requirements, minority, people of color, women-owned, or service-disabled, veteran-owned businesses. Okay, and how you would get certified, the State of Texas Comptroller Office is the owner of that information. So that links here to the website, and there's an application through their online portal that you can complete. It's completely free. We highly encourage it. What happens here with us, with our departments, at that threshold at 3,000 to 50,000, which is quite a large range, they have to seek out Hub certified vendors in the Gregg County area. So every time they're going to get a quote, they have to at least seek out 2 people that are Hub certified on the list through the State of Texas Comptroller's website. So we highly recommend, that you guys check that out and see if you're eligible potentially to join that. Okay, and that certification is free of charge, and that certification is valid for 4 years as long as you meet those standard requirements. So Amanda's going to come up and she's going to discuss some of our bidding requirements for you guys and some tips for success.
Thank y'all again for coming. I'll just start right off. One of the requirements we have for both informal and formal purchases, so under 50,000 and over 50,000, is this conflict of interest form. So it's included within our bid packets. It comes from the Texas Ethics Commission, so I know you can't see that very well, so you can go to the Texas Ethics Commission website and download that. So basically, it's just where you would need to disclose if you have a relationship with a city employee or a city council member. You would list it here. Doesn't mean you wouldn't win the bid or not be awarded. It just means that you have to disclose it and be transparent. Most people don't have a conflict, so if you don't, we always recommend you just put not applicable somewhere on the form and sign it when you turn in your quotes or your bid documents. All right. In addition, we also, Government Code 271.905 allows us to utilize a local preference. So if your principal place of business is within the city limits, we can offer a 5% local preference on your quotes or your bids. And this applies to informal quotes or invitation to bids as well. So that is something that we have in place here. We have a map showing you on our city website. This is the map that we use whenever you have a bid packet that you submit. We'll ask for your principal place of business, the address. We go in there and we put the address in the map, and it has the border showing whether or not you're inside or outside of the city limits and whether we can award that 5% preference to you. And you can find that it's called My City on the interactive map gallery on the Longview website. Okay. Some of the minimum bidder proposer requirements, it also applies to both informal and formal purchases. Before you submit a quote or a bid, we ask you just to make sure you meet these requirements. First is to have adequate financial resources, or if you don't currently, just the ability to obtain the resources required. We ask that you be able to comply with the required or proposed delivery schedule. So say you live too far away or your business is too far away to accommodate our delivery schedules, or you think you might not have enough staff. We just want you to kind of look within your company to see if you think you might be able to meet those delivery schedules listed in the bid requirements. Number 3 is to have a satisfactory record of performance. We always ask for references within our bid documents, and we do check those references. And we just verify that the service or good provided was satisfactory and everyone was happy. Number 4 is to have a satisfactory record of integrity and ethics, and then otherwise be qualified and eligible to receive an award. So you're not a minor, you're over 18, things of that nature. All right. You can also find our terms and conditions on our website. We have it listed here. It's under longviewtexas.gov under vendor information. And I'm just going to hit some of the highlights of our terms and conditions that the people are most interested in. So the first term is the purpose. This is where it just states the reason for this quote or the bid solicitation. In addition to, in our formal purchases, we also list the length and duration of the contract. Most of our formal purchases are 1 year with 4 renewable options. So most of them are a 5-year contract. In addition, the term contract, this refers to the purchase order itself that's issued to the vendor. A purchase order, once accepted by both parties, by the company or the entity and the city, becomes a binding contract. So the purchase order itself is a contract. Okay, next, payment. Our terms are net 30. And we always ask that you email your invoices once you have received an award to accounts payable at longviewtexas.gov. Sales tax exemption. We are a tax exempt entity, so we are by law exempt from state tax and federal excise tax. So if you do give us a quote or a bid, just don't include those taxes. Price reductions. We ask that if during the course of doing business, the prices for some reason go down, which would be great, but if they do and you notice that you've extended those prices to your other customers, we ask that you extend those to the city as well. All right, termination for convenience. So during a contract term, either party can cancel the contract within 30 days. The vendor just must state the reasons for the cancellation, but either party can do that. Termination for default, on the other hand, is when the vendor is not performing properly, service delivery schedules can't be met, those sorts of things, and that's actually documented. And you'd much rather want a termination for convenience than termination for default, for sure. All right, and then insurance. We also, within our terms and conditions, list our insurance requirements and the limits. I won't go through all of that, but y'all will be able to go to that website and view the limits, liability, workman's comp requirements, things of that nature. All right. And that's it for the terms. Thank you. So some tips to successful bidding. You always want to review if it's a formal bid packet, you want to review every page of the document thoroughly. And for an informal quote as well, just read all the requirements, read the terms and conditions, see if you can meet all of those, see if you have any trouble with those. You'll also want to attend any pre-bid or pre-proposal meetings that are offered. Sometimes within our formal bids, we have optional pre-bids, and those are always encouraged for you to come to those, and everyone gets the chance to ask questions and hear the same information at the same time. We ask that you email the contact listed within the bid document if you do have questions. So for purchasing, for those formal contracts over $50,000, that's usually our department, purchasing at longviewtexas.gov. But for informal, under $50,000, it's usually the department and whoever is in charge, the contract manager, for code enforcement, it would be probably Todd Key. I hate to name drop, but Todd Keybaugh or something like that. The department manager is usually the contact. In addition, you want to be on alert for any addendums that may be issued. And in a minute, we're going to go navigate the website and teach you how to sign up for alerts. And those are where the addendums are posted as well. So anytime we post an addendum, you'll be alerted to that. You're going to confirm that all required forms are completed and signed by an authorized individual. You want to verify that all documentation is included within your bid submission. So a lot of times we ask for equipment pictures, applicable licenses, things of that nature. We just want to make sure that everything is turned in to be considered responsive. And then double check for any mathematical errors, especially in a bid, a formal bid. It cannot be changed. We can't change the bid price once submitted. And so we ask that you check for mathematical errors before sealing that bid and turning it in. And then, of course, give yourself enough time to meet the deadline, the published deadline. Date and time. We cannot accept anything a minute past the deadline by law. So if you do turn in a late bid, unfortunately, we have to return it to the bidder unopened, and so it can't be considered. So those are some tips. All right, future opportunities. So some of the things coming down the pipe, these are contracts that are either new or are expiring and will be having to be rebid. It usually means that we've exhausted all of our renewal options with the current vendor and that it's time to go back out for bid for these services. So plumbing services is coming up soon. Automotive batteries for our fleet department. Fireworks for July 4th, those are already getting planned for next year, and our contract is up with the vendor that provided them the last 5 years. So we'll be doing that. Uniforms for our Public Works Department, that's expiring soon, and so we'll be rebidding that. Mowing and grounds maintenance, that's our beautification department. We have 2 large contracts with consolidating mowing services, and one of those is coming up soon. I think December for that one. Street painting services, that's our traffic department. That is actually right around the corner and is almost ready to be bid out. And then flood mitigation services, that's our risk and water distribution collection department. And there will probably be some other ones that pop up throughout the year that we won't even know or be prepared for, but we will get it done. These are all formal contracts as well. These are not informal. Under $50,000 is not included on this slide, so these are the larger ones. But if you do have any questions about contract term dates, when those opportunities are expiring, just feel free to email purchasing@longviewtexas.gov, and I'll give you that information. All right, so now we're going to show how to sign up for alerts. And this is very handy. Anytime we issue a bid or a solicitation that's a formal solicitation, we post it on our website along with any addendums that take place. And so it'll send you an email or text alert depending on how you have it set up. So that's what we're about to talk about. All right. So first you're going to go to, let me see. Let me get my steps. Thank you. So this is by going to longviewtexas.gov/bids. You're going to click the sign up link. This will allow for email or text alerts. Or actually, you might want to put in your email address first. Is that what? Yeah, we'll go ahead and put in our email address. I know. Sure, you can put in yours. And then you'll click Notify Me Signing In. And you'll scroll down. Ours are listed under, bid postings. And we have, so City of Longview Purchasing has their own list, and then Public Works, that Zach will talk about soon, will have their own bid posting list as well. So you'll hover over the little icons, and it'll say subscribe via email or subscribe via text. And I always do email, or we can do either one. Yeah. And then it'll tell you must verify your email. It'll send you an email, and then it'll go through a verification process. And we're not going to do that part because that'll require us logging in as somebody else. But you'll get an email, you'll verify the email that comes to you, and then you'll be subscribed to those lists. And the same process for any of those lists that you want to sign up for, actually. So, all right. And then the next demonstration we're going to do is how to sign up for our supplier list. And this is going to be utilized for, yes, you'll find it in there. It'll say register for supplier list. And this is going to be utilized for the department buyers. So informal or formal, you'll come in here and you're going to enter your email, all your business company information, and then you'll click to the second page, and it's going to have you select a drop down for your commodity codes that you offer. And then you click submit, and it's going to be on this Google form and available to all of the department buyers. So if they need a quote or for a service or good that they need, they should be able to look here, see your company's information for whatever service that is, and reach out to you for a quote. In addition, we don't fill out vendor paperwork until after a company has been awarded a bid or a quote. So you can just hold off on that. You can just fill out this Google form, and that should take care of that process. Once you are awarded, then we send you the vendor packet, and you'll fill out the W-9, the vendor information sheet, all those good things. All right. And now I'm going to hand it over to Zach, and he's going to talk a little bit about Public Works.
Okay, I'm Zach, Assistant City Engineer. Dwayne unfortunately had a prior commitment, so he is not attending today, but I'm here to go over with you how we advertise and bid our CIP projects or our capital improvement projects. And so we post our projects on 3 different outlets. One of them is the Longview News Journal, and what that'll include is a single column summary of the project, and it will direct you to one of our other 2 advertising outlets, which one of them would be the city website, which Amanda had already touched base on. I highly recommend signing up for the notifications so that you stay up to date on all documents that are being posted, as well as any RFIs. The other most important thing that we use is CivCast USA. CivCast is an online bidding platform. It's CivCast, CivCast, And so everything as far as engineered plans, all the project specifications and bidding documents will be posted on CivCast. Once you log into CivCast and you download the documents, you are put on what's called a plan holder list. And so the plan holder list keeps track of everybody that's downloaded projects. It's free for anybody to look into. And so what happens is as we go through the bidding process, the CivCast website will give you the owner's information, the date and time the bid is due, if there's a pre-bid conference, which are never mandatory but highly recommended. And it also gives you the RFI section, which is a request for information. Obviously, questions come up during the bidding process. We like to confine these to the CivCast online bidding platform that allows everybody, all the plan holders, to view every question that's been asked by any other vendor or contractor. And so it's, everything is transparent. It's all right there. And we have the RFIs are open until 5 days prior to the bid closing. And as Amanda mentioned, bids are due, the date and time they're due. 1 minute past is not acceptable, and unfortunately, we have to return your bid on unopened. I will make a point that for contractors or companies that are not local and don't have the ability to hand in their bid in person, I have seen many occurrences where people have FedExed or UPS their bids something happens and it shows up a day or two later. So if you're going to use the mail, keep that in mind. It's very important that you're aware of that. Per state law, we can't accept a bid past the due date. Any addendums or additional plan updates are also posted on CivCast. CivCast will notify every one of the plan holders when that happens, and part of our documentation in our bid documents ask you to acknowledge every addendum that has been issued, and that's, when we open our proposals, if you're missing documents, if you haven't acknowledged addendums, it is cause for bid rejection. So please be aware of when you receive updates from CivCast. That is very important. But that's pretty much it. I mean, it's pretty simple. Thank you all.
And just for clarification, when the solicitation document is issued, that's your contract, as we stated. An addendum is an additional, like, clarification to the specifications in that document. So like they stated, addendums are very important because those are additional information that may come from the pre-bid meetings or the pre-proposal meetings, and it clarifies the contract, okay? I just wanted to make sure everyone knew what addendum, we were kind of speaking in purchasing terms. So, okay, thank you. Y'all have a good day.